the Money Brick Road has a question for you. It says they're 33 years old with a 30% plus marginal tax rate. They're maxing their 401k and HSA. I'm splitting my 401k contributions 50-50 with Roth and traditional to get some tax break now. Am I offsides with the foo?
I don't want to say offsides. That's too. It's too aggressive. It's too strong. I will tell you our opinion, and this one I do put opinion on because we're making some assumptions here about tax rate today, tax rate in the future, that sort of thing. Our opinion is what?
I keep hitting the microphone.
Well, I wouldn't
with my
do
chin.
that if I were you. Our opinion is once your marginal state and federal rate combined are over 30%. Our opinion is historically that current year tax savings is pretty attractive. If I can put $1 in my 401k and I can save 30 cents in taxes, I can think of that this year kind of as like a 30% imputed rate of return. That sounds pretty exciting. And if I build up my wealth well and I build up the 3 buckets, I feel pretty confident that when I get to financial independence, if I can pull from different pots, I can probably get my tax rate below 30%, right? So if I'm going to have a higher tax rate now, lower tax rate in the future, I think pre-tax makes a whole lot of sense. Now, maybe you're someone who says, hey, my tax rate's never going to change. It's always going to be 30%, or my tax rate's only going to be higher and it's going to be higher for the rest of my life because I believe X, Y, Z. Well, then I think you can make a case for doing Roth 401k. But in an ideal world, here's what we love to see. And Brian, I want to see if you agree with this. We'd love for you to max out the 401k, do it all on pre-tax, get all that tax savings. And even though likely in the 30% bracket, you can't make direct contributions to Roth anymore, there's still likely an opportunity for you to do backdoor Roths where you could still do up to $14,000 for you and your spouse in Roth contributions every year. So that way it's not an either or, it's a both and you're still maximizing the current year tax benefit.
Yeah, I mean, there is some truth to the fact that funding Roth contributions, especially like 401ks and things like that, since you don't get a current year tax deduction, it costs more money. Mm-hmm. It takes more money. Mm-hmm. So if you do pivot to, because you're in a higher tax bracket situation, to pre-tax, in theory, you should have now more take-home pay that you could either do that backdoor Roth contribution, you could start saving into an after-tax individual or a joint brokerage account. Just make sure that the money's doing something. I think a lot of people who are financial mutants, there's definitely a sect where you're kind of, it's hard to make a decision on something. Because I do the 401ks here at work, and I see I have a few people here when I'm doing that they do some Roth contributions, they do some traditional, and I'm like, what are they doing here? I mean, I it's kind of like, I'm going to do it both ways, so that way I don't offend anything or get anything wrong. So you kind of have your feet in both camps. I would really encourage you to kind of figure out a system that you agree with and just go all in on it.
You were about to say whole hog.
I was going to say whole hog. So you can go to moneyguy.com/resources. Check out our financial order of operations. There is a why to why we put these specific steps in the order that they are, is because we are trying to help you maximize the tax savings, but also the timing, the behaviors. And that's what I loved about, and look, I know I've said it a few times today, but it's important. This is why I wrote this. Millionaire Mission gives you the mindset stuff even more so. I love that we give you the analytics with the financial order operations, but if you want to kind of get at the intersection of also the mindset stuff, this is going to help you so you can break those habits of kind of being in the middle, not going whole hog on anything. You're just trying to kind of check all the boxes. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that, because in a lot of ways, I mean, I do the same thing with my mortgage. You've told me, hey, yeah, why aren't you investing that money? Because the ability to pay off that mortgage is better than, just paying it off when it's 2.5%. Mm-hmm. But I've been rounding it up. I've been paying a little bit extra, of course. But the reality is that if you follow the system and you do it right, you're going to probably be in a more maximized or better thing. But there's nothing wrong with focusing on not only the get wealthy behaviors, but stay wealthy as long as you're at that place. He said that he's 33 years old. That's definitely solidly in the get wealthy camp. So make sure you kind of know the whys for why we've designed this rule, so it can maximize your journey and get you to doing the stay wealthy behaviors that much sooner.
Yeah, I love what you just said. The behavior, you're nailing it. I can't think of one client ever who's been like, oh man, I was going to be financially independent if I only would have done pre-tax contributions. Or, oh man, I would have been financially independent if I would have been doing right. No,
they're not bad.
These are matters of optimization is what they are. The fact that you're doing the behavior of saving and saving aggressively and doing your 401k and doing your HSA, and you're doing the right thing. It's just got to figure out what in your world is the optimal solution.